brokers? Will it actually start coming in?
What should answer this?
The only parallel we can draw is from the financial markets. Financial markets already, if you want to work as a share broker or a mutual fund advisor, there is a certification required. So would be a basis to get that license. Anybody can't come in and say, give me a license. So there would definitely be some sort of qualification to enter and become a registered broker within the regulation. So usually this comes at the next step in the implementation stage. Maybe it's not there in the act, but it will definitely be there when it starts rolling out.
Yeah, why not? The broker community, we are basically trying from the last 2 years with Chandigarh government that you should register the broker. So एक तो क्लैरिटी आएगी बिजनेस में, टैक्स पर्पस में क्लैरिटी आएगी, जो बुक्स मेंटेन होनी चाहिए वो बुक्स मेंटेन होंगी. So we are hopeful रेगुलेटरी बिल आ गया, इसके बाद करना ही पड़ेगा.
Positive first questions. Any questions?
ये आईफैन जो आपकी सर्टिफिकेशन है, ये सर्टिफिकेशन तो मिल गई. सर्टिफिकेशन मिलके अगर हम तो अपने प्रोसेस पूरे कर रहे हैं, तो क्या ये आपकी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन एक ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म बनेगी कि हमारे और एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के बीच में भी ब्रिज बनेगी कि एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन जो हमें डिलीवर करती है अपने प्रॉमिस पूरे करें हमारे साथ?
जो आपका क्वेश्चन है रिलेटेड टू सर्टिफिकेशन प्रोवाइडर would be the bridge between the distributor, any conflict with the administration. We are only service provider. We are saying whatever local norms are going on across the world, can we provide same type of norms who are associates or not, or real estate consultant or not? Maybe this is trade body's job to bring. If you are agent, means you are behaving, you are working on behalf of particular developer. When you are going to sign any agreement with your developer, you should be ready to sign whatever you want. If you feel that there is no power for you, you should ask question from day one from your developer why you are not signing any agreement. So we have to start from our end. Then we go for any trade, and body can represent entire industry as a consultant to administrator. From 1st of Feb onwards, there are REITs. Can you explain or can you more some light on REITs, how REITs are different from mutual fund, how REITs are different for investor, how they can invest a particular REIT fund if we have some single application but we can invest in multiple asset class or multiple developers. And how better investors would be beneficial through this.
People do not trust the builders, so they thought why not to have a professional body to manage it. So the intent was that let the property be transferred, let the property be dealt like shares. So instead of one investor funding about 2, 3, 4, 5 crore rupees, if I have more than 2 lakh rupees, I can purchase a proportionate unit or maybe a part of a unit. So the intent is this a pooling of funds by investors through professionals. They reach the developers and they invest this money so that the returns are equally distributed. So this is one part where the investors are very secure that they are into professional hands. So we are looking forward for that, but my confidence goes more on the bill and this act per se, because people in India still, as far as my perception is concerned, जैसा मैं सोचता हूँ, अभी भी अपनी प्रॉपर्टी खुद के नाम करना पसंद करते हैं बजाय पूल करके एक उसका यूनिट लेने के. ज्यादा से ज्यादा क्या होता है कि एक बड़ी प्रॉपर्टी है, उस 10,000 स्क्वायर फीट है, तो लोगों ने इन्वेस्ट कर दिया कि ठीक है मेरा भी 500 फुट हो गया, उसका मुझे रेंटल मिल रहा है, पर उसमें बहुत कंफर्ट आता नहीं. So basically, I think so that with this act, when the investors are very sure that there is money secure and they'll get the property, they are going to be a little better boom in the properties. I have a question from Mr. Gupta for her. So what is assured return? Why you promise assured returns?
Basically, if you talk about assured return, the mechanism is the simple, it's a funding generating because say for example, the product is to be delivered in 3 years. The builder is going to get the money construction in over the span of 3 years, right? But every project at the beginning itself demands certain funds, either in terms of land payments, at the same time in terms of initiating the construction, because selling everything on the CLP will lead to postponing the payments. So what builder does is basically kind of a funding only to the builder, that he gives you net present value, or you say discounting in terms of assured return, that if I get the money 3 years in advance rather than spreading over 3 years, then I will pay you certain thing, because customer को क्या नुकसान है, customer अगर immediate पैसा दे रहा है तो उसको बैंक में interest मिलता, he would have invested money somewhere else. So why he shall give the money to the builder in one go? That's the one mode which builder offers to him to attract him, that बैंक के अंदर 8-9-10% के आसपास इंटरेस्ट मिल रहा है तो 12% के ऊपर आप हमें दे दो. And builder को private funding भी अगर वो लेता है तो it automatically goes up to 15-16%. तो net share के अंदर 9-10% उसको पड़ती है. So it is better to go to the customer, is risk spread out among the customer rather than taking a big loan of 100 crore.
This is the answer for that RAEP. Instead of assured return, where you trust the builder one-to-one, if you go in piece by unit-wise, you are in.
The magic of compounding. A long time ago, there was a king in India who loved to play games. He soon grew bored of all the games played at the time and wanted a new game that was challenging. He commissioned a poor mathematician who lived in his kingdom to come up with a new game. The mathematician invented the game of chess. When he showed it to the king, the ruler was so pleased that he gave the inventor the right to name his prize for the invention. The man, who was very wise, asked the king, "Your Highness, if you place just 1 grain of rice on the first square of this chessboard and double it for every square, I will consider myself well rewarded." "Are you sure?" asked the king, greatly surprised. "Just rice, not gold?" "Yes, Your Highness," affirmed the humble man. "So it shall be," ordered the king, and his courtiers started placing the grain on the chessboard. 1 grain on the first square, 2 on the second, 4 on the third, 8 on the fourth, and so on. By the time they came to the 10th square, they had to place 512 grains of rice. The number swelled to 5,24,288 grains on the 20th square. When they came to the halfway mark, the 32nd square, the grain count was over 214 crores. Soon the count increased to lakhs of crores, and eventually the hapless king had to hand over his entire kingdom to the clever mathematician. And it all began with just 1 grain of rice. Never underestimate the power of compounding. It is sometimes called the 8th wonder of the world. Small amounts of money invested every month from the beginning of your work life can lead to a handsome payout at the time of your retirement. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
Why should we invest in mutual funds? We all save money. But then, a question comes to our mind. What do I do with the money? How can I get the maximum benefit out of it? After all, we worked really hard for it. We ask our friends and colleagues about where to invest. Well, some will say fixed deposits. Some say buy an insurance policy. But are these the best options we have? You see, with price rises and inflation touching the roof, how will your dreams like buying a car or going on a holiday ever become a reality? Mutual funds, trust me, is the answer. Now you see, when we hear about this mutual funds, it sounds very complicated. We think about filling forms, reading boring bank brochures, going through complex calculations, stock markets. It is simply not everyone's cup of tea. That is where mutual fund experts come in. Like most investors, you may have more interesting things to do in life, like, say, going to a movie or a weekend trip. So leaving investments to the experts is a practical and logical idea. After all, they are the experts. Now you may ask, What are the benefits of mutual funds? Mutual funds offer the convenience of liquidity. This means that you can get access to your money very easily and at short notice. All it takes is a phone call. It is almost like keeping your money in your existing bank account. The only difference, your money has a better chance to grow in a mutual fund. Mutual funds provide the right diversification for your investments. It is a given that stock markets have ups and downs. There is no escape from that fact. To reduce this imminent risk, the asset management company does a very smart thing. They go and invest in not one, but various industries in equity and various securities in debt funds. Mutual funds are well regulated by SEBI, which means that it is always under the hawk-eye of SEBI. So there's very less chance of fraud. People think that mutual funds are for those who make a lot of money. This is just a myth. There are mutual fund investments for the junior-most guy in the office to the big entrepreneur. So no matter how much you earn or what your risk appetite is, there is a plan for all of us. You could invest in low-risk products like cash and liquid funds, which have potentially steady returns. Or invest in high-risk products with potentially high returns. For your short-term goals like a foreign holiday or a car, there are debt funds. For long-term goals like your own house or daughter's marriage, there are equity funds. So you have a wide range of investment choices. So now you may say, this is a great idea, but what about the charges? I mean, they are mutual fund experts. The good news is that the charges are very low. Since a professional is managing a large pool of investors like you, the cost that you pay for a professional manager is shared and very small compared to the other investment options in the market. On top of getting good returns for your money, you can also avail long-term tax benefits. This is one of the greatest benefits of this investment. So in all, easy liquidity, diversification, regulated by SEBI, mutual fund is for everyone. Wide investment choices, low charges, long-term tax benefit. All these factors make mutual fund a very practical investment you should seriously consider. It is the stepping stone to your dream. So set your goals and start investing today. You are much closer to your dream than you think. To invest in mutual funds, call your financial advisor now. Call toll-free 1-800-226622 or visit us at www.idfcmf.com.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
What are tax saving schemes? These are schemes that help an investor save on taxes. Tax saving schemes offer tax rebates to the investors under specific provisions of the Income Tax Act 1961, as the government offers tax incentives for investment in specified avenues. These schemes are also known as equity-linked saving schemes or ELSS. The investment in these schemes has to stay for a minimum period of 3 years from the date of investment. These schemes are growth-oriented and invest predominantly in equities. The growth opportunities and risks associated with these schemes, those of any equity-oriented scheme.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all documents and information carefully before investing.